What everyday items might you have to help regulate temperature in an emergency? You might be surprised at what everyday items you already have on hand. Do you know how to stay warm or cool in your home without electricity? This video will give you quick and safe solutions that you can use to keep you comfortable until the power comes back on. I'm Tracy from Alberta, Canada, and I am the part-time prepper. This is week 3 of our 12-week prepping kickstart. If you haven't watched week 1 and 2, you're going to want to go back and watch those. So I'll make sure to tag those at the end so you don't miss out on any of this information. Temperatures will be rising and they'll be dropping, but the cost to heat and cool our home is only going to go up. So hopefully some of these strategies will also help you bring down the costs, because we all know we need to save money wherever we can. And let's jump right in on how to keep warm or cool when the power goes out. Today I want to talk to you about how you can avoid freezing or frying when the power goes down. And some of the strategies I'm going to show you can also be used if you just want to save a little bit of money on your gas bill or on your electricity bill when your temperatures fluctuate. So I'm sitting here in a toque. That's a wool hat for you non-Canadians, and it is the end of June. That is not totally unnormal. Where we live in Alberta, they always say if you don't like the temperature, stick around 5 minutes, it'll change, and it will. But I'm also wearing it as one suggestion of how you can stay warm in your house when the power goes down. But let's talk about some other ones. Here we have the Mr. Heater and the Big Buddy. These both run off the small green propane tanks. This one takes 1, this one takes 2. If you're using them inside, make sure you're using them in a well-ventilated area. But they are enough to take the chill off. Again, if you had to use it in your vehicle, be cautious about ventilation. But they will stop you from freezing. These are popular for hunt shacks or ice fishing shacks. People that work outside of in the elements can come in and warm up next to them. Again, the carbon monoxide danger is there, so make sure you're using them in a well-ventilated area. What size do you need? I would always go with the bigger one if you can afford it, but the smaller one is a great option as well. They are very light. They don't take a lot of space. If the power went out and you lost heat, would these heat your entire house? Absolutely not. But what you could do is you could close off one room. Again, make sure that you have proper ventilation, but close it off so that the heat is staying in that small room. It would have to be in a room with a window or near a door so that you could get fresh air in, but it would keep you a little warmer. We had the small one before we had the big one, and when we used to travel across the country in the wintertime at Christmas, we always had this in the back with us. We knew that if we happened to break down, some of those highways are pretty lonely in the winter and at night, and if we got stuck someplace, we wanted to make sure that the kids were going to have a source of heat. So we carried this one with us. We bought the bigger one when we bought the camp. Here we have a smaller option. This is just the heat globe that hooks onto the tank itself. Definitely not as big, but it would keep you warm or warm you up in a hurry if you were in a vehicle and you just needed to get that chill off you. This just unscrews, and the top piece with the igniter fit right into here. Again, it comes with a base so that it's a little more steady and not likely to rock over. So this is a really simple one to use. We've just attached it to the canister. Remember, it comes with a case so that this is protected when not on the canister. We turn on the fuel. I think you can probably hear that. And then the igniter's right here. And it won't be long before you see that actually turning red in there. To see the heat, you see the red? And then to turn it off, we simply turn this dial and shut the gas off, propane off. So you could spend hundreds, you could spend, 50. But having something to give you a little peace of mind, knowing that if the power went out, you could stay warm. I do want to remind you that if the power goes out in your house and you know you're going to be without heat for a while, it is imperative that you know how to shut your water off, because the last thing you want is when the power and the heat come back on for you to have cracked water lines. So do yourself a favor, find out how to shut your water off if you don't know how to drain it, and make sure that you're not dealing with that as well as trying to keep your bodies warm. So these are not things that we would use just when it gets chilly to save a little money and not put the heat on, but I do have some options for that as well. So the fact that it is June and I am not roasting in this is crazy, but this I picked up at Value Village. It is a blanket that also doubles as a long coat. It is a wool type material. It's extremely warm and it's wearable. The next thing that I want to show you is actually a gift I bought for my husband. So when he's in the hunting blind, but I decided I liked it too much that he gave it to me. But we've got a couple different ones. You see companies like Milwaukee has their heated jackets. There's a lot of off brands on Amazon as well. I picked up this one last year, Black Friday sale. It's a very warm vest on its own, but then it also has the heat option. And it just heats with a battery pack, same as you would use for your phone. So you make sure that's charged and you're nice and toasty warm. So I took this when I went hiking. Well, not this one, but I took mine when I went hiking. And the only time I turned it on was when I went to sleep at night. We were sleeping in the mountains in a tent, and it was pretty frosty. We woke up to snow every morning, and I was really glad to have it run for about half an hour as I fell asleep. And then a couple times I woke up during the night and just tapped it to warm up. So another great option. I scored at Value Village one time, the Milwaukee jacket, and she gave it to me for $7 because it did not have the charger with it, but I had the exact same brand at home. So I brought that home and was able to use the same charger for the one we have with both of them. So keep an eye at secondhand stores. As long as you're not paying too much, if you don't know for sure that they work and the value's in the jacket on its own, if the heating portion of it works, then you've lucked out again. You can find these foil mylar blankets just about anywhere. Dollar store, camping goods stores, Walmart, anywhere. They're great to have. They help retain your body heat. So if you were in a situation where you're freezing, whether it's inside your house, inside your vehicle, or not inside anything, these are great to have. They're not expensive. They don't take a lot of room, and they come in different sizes. My son went on a camping trip, and teenage, they know way more than we do. So I was trying to encourage him to put in some extra stuff just in case, and he wasn't having it. So right before he left, I actually threw this in his bag. He did not need it, but it is 5 emergency blankets, and it says "Don't die in the woods." But they are little gold mylar blankets, each in their own bag. And I thought, you know what? For the amount of space it took, if they needed it, I was super glad that he had it. And when he got there, they actually kind of did a little "what did you pack" type exercise. And he was voted most likely to survive on a loan. So he came home and he was pretty proud of that. And he was pretty thankful that his mom stuck in the "don't die in the woods" blankets. But same as these, they're just mylar blankets. They are meant to retain 90% of your body heat for a short period of time, but that might be just enough time to get you to the next step. We also have the emergency ponchos, which is essentially just like the emergency blankets, but in a wearable form. Don't I look cute? But if you had to do some walking or carrying anything, a poncho would be that much more beneficial. We definitely don't want to underestimate the power of the hand warmers. They come in different sizes, hand warmers, foot warmers. You can buy the ones that have the belt that go around your back. These do have a best before date. Now, I am not a expiry date believer. on most things. And I have never yet found ones that didn't work. And I've had some that, you know, I know have been in camping equipment and stuff like that for almost a decade. But what we started doing is we write on the back, they say 5 years, and there isn't best before date on the back of them, which is 5 years from the time they're made. So when we buy cases of them, because I don't see the date on the case anywhere, we put the date that we bought it and the best before date on the back. And when I get a year within that best before date, we send these to the inner city. We know that they're definitely still good, but then that's when we replace them for our preps. We use these a lot. We have them in every vehicle, side pockets. If you need it, great. If you need to hand them out, perfect. If somebody just gets cold from scraping the window, you parked somewhere and it was a lot colder than you expected, you could open them and stick them inside your clothing. And they go on sale quite often at Costco, Canadian Tire. I think the case was like $11. So definitely money well spent, and multi-purpose because you're going to use it. Head down to a soccer field and pass these out to the moms who are diligently watching their kids on the coldest day of the year, because that's always when they have the games, right? Most of the socks we see in the stores nowadays are cotton, polyester, something like that. But if you can get your hand on some wool socks, these were made from a friend of my mom's back when I was in university. So that was, you know, at least 5 years ago. And when I started dating John, she made him a pair as well. So that was probably about 10 years ago. But we've held on to these. They are wool socks, and definitely nothing warmer on your feet than a good pair of wool socks. We have a couple pair stuck under our seats in the vehicle. And if you can keep your feet warm and your hands warm and your head warm, the rest of your body generally follows suit. So a good warm hat. This one doubles. It has the emergency light. Do I spend a lot of money? No, I just watch for sales. 2 years ago at Canadian Tire, these were in the bin at the end of season for $1.99. So I bought all of the ones in the bin. They're great to keep my head warm, and I have the light. So if I have to go out, or if the power goes out and I have no light, I got my toque on and I can see. And now the last, and probably one of my favorite ways to stay warm. And I don't know if this is a regional thing or a generational thing, because I've mentioned it to people who have never heard of them. But in our family, everyone has them. So I would love to know in the comments, do you have water bottles in your family? So obviously this one was my little guy's, who's now 6'4" and almost 20 years old. But the water bottle's inside. We all have them. Everybody in the family has a water bottle. And I know that they still make them because I have a baby shower to attend to today. And I thought everybody needs a water bottle. So our new baby great-grandson is going to have a water bottle to be used when he gets a little bit older. Again, this is another multi-purpose item. You have a stomach ache, you have the water bottle. You have an earache, you use the water bottle. You feel a cold coming on, get the water bottle. Menstrual cramps, get the water bottle. Power goes out, you have your propane or your butane stove, you're boiling water, you're getting some warm fluid into you, you're filling up the water, and you're taking this to bed with you. You need the water bottle. So I'm really curious to see how many of you already have water bottles. And if you don't, would you consider getting one? So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're cold and you drink warm liquids, you're going to warm up. So I did show this last week. This is a flameless water heater. But keeping things that are easy to get your warm liquids into you. These are the coffee, cream, and sugar sachets, the tea. We're going to warm it up and we're going to make some warm beverage to keep us warm. But what if it's not the heat? What if it's not the cold that we're worried about? What if it's the heat? Well, let's move on over to how to stop from frying when the weather changes. So we've gone from our warm drinks to keep us warm to our cold drinks to keep us cool. Whenever I empty a soda bottle, I don't usually use the water bottles. They're just not as sturdy. Maybe some brands are, but I fill them with water, especially the smaller ones, and I put them in the freezer. And they're great for lots of reasons. They're great when we're heading out and we know we're going to be out for a couple hours. We just grab one of these. It starts to thaw. Some of them I'm a little bit more creative on it, and I put them on a slant so that there's only ice on the bottom. When you stand up, you can still fill the rest with water. But when we're out for a couple hours, it doesn't take long for these to thaw, and we're drinking ice cold water. But there are other uses for these besides just drinking. So this is a solar or USB chargeable fan and a light. It has 4 different speeds for the fan. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually a pretty intense fan for being a solar charged. It has a light as well. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. It's not really dark enough to show you the light. But I wouldn't use the light on this. I think it would drain the battery too fast. And we do have other light sources, so I would use it mostly for the fan. It has a hook so that you can hang it somewhere. And when fully charged with solar, because I've yet to charge it with the USB, it will run for 6 hours on speed 4. So if you slowed that down a bit, you'd get even longer on that. And it's quite a powerful little fan. I'm really happy with this one. I will put the link down in the description for it. It was not very expensive and definitely something that I know we'll use, even if it's just a matter of wanting a fan someplace where we don't have a plug. My son has one of these that he takes. He's a counselor at camp, and he uses one of these. He sets it out during the day when it charges, and then he brings it in at night and uses it in the cabin. Here's another solar fan that we have. Again, it has the light as well. This one is a 1-piece unit, whereas the other one, the rechargeable panel, is a separate piece. This one has 3, whereas the other one had 4. But I'm going to go into more details in an upcoming video, so be sure to follow along if you'd like to see the comparison of these two and which advantages and disadvantages they have. You probably could do this with any towel. These were purchased years and years ago. They are called the Tropicool towel, and you just take the towel out. It's kind of, I'm not sure what the material is of it. It's like a stretchy, it's really, really thin. But you wet it all, and then you store it in the container, which will keep it damp. You can machine wash, just not in the dryer, but it's really cool. So you could wrap that around your neck, put it in your shirt, something like that, and that will really help you cool off as well. Again, these are great things to have on hand. So these are all the rage, and I kind of thought they were bogus, but I have kids who are all furnaces, and they are always hot in the summer. Did I mention we don't have AC? And so I bought one of them a cooling blanket, and I don't know the science behind it. This is slippery. This is soft. This is nice and cool. So some people just cannot lie without a blanket on. But when it's really hot, that's the last thing you want on. But these cooling blankets actually do keep you cool. So this one is from Costco. Sell them on Amazon, Walmart. I think you can pick them up anywhere, but this one's from Costco. And again, I don't know the science behind it, but if you just need something to drop your temperature a little bit, cooling blanket helps you to get that good night's sleep and not overheat. So I showed you the emergency blankets to keep warm, but do you know that they can also keep you cool? If you put the reflective side out and you put them on your window, the sun will hit them and bounce out. So it'll keep the sun out. You're going to want to keep if you don't have these, or even if you do, you're going to want to keep your blinds closed, keep the sun out during the day, open them at night when the sun goes down to let some fresh air in. But yeah, and if you use them once, they've paid for themselves 10 times over. So if you don't already have a couple of these in your preps, you're definitely going to want to get them. Again, dollar store, Walmart, Amazon, almost anywhere will carry emergency blankets. And last but not least, this was probably one of my best purchases. It's a little big on me because it's not mine. I bought for my husband, who cuts the grass on the tractor and comes in and is roasting. And so I purchased this. It has solar fans to keep him warm. We had a family barbecue on Father's Day. My grandson walked in, laughed, tried it on, and decided he needed one for fishing. Our son, who runs a construction company, said, hey, those would be great for my guys working on the roof. So again, it's an extra large. So when I put it on, it covers my head and my eyes. But when you are hot and the sun is powering your fan to keep your head cool, definitely something that if you're looking for a unique gift that will be worn and used when it's hot weather, maybe you're out golfing. I don't know. Does this break some golf dress code? I don't know. I don't golf. But again, you see how the things that I'm purchasing, most of them are things that we're going to use. And then we have them on hand in case an emergency arises. Well, I really hope you'll come back next week when we talk about emergency lighting. Until then, take care, be safe, plan ahead just in case. See you next week.